Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar, your host, and this is probably going to be this trip's last Conversations from Hyderabad, my hometown. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something which is very troubling. It shows essentially two things. It shows the duplicity with which Netanyahu has been dealing both with the Palestinians as well as with the Americans, and also the rather shameless, spineless way in which American leaders, from the president onwards, continue to lie to the American people and rest of the world on behalf of Israel. They not only enable Israel's violence, brutality, occupation, and expansion of Israeli settlements, but they also continue to lie about what Israel's real intentions are going forward. And when the Israeli leaders themselves make it explicitly clear what their real intentions really are, then American presidents and others go on a campaign to misrepresent the facts, basically on a disinformation campaign. So I'm going to talk about the disinformation campaign by President Joe Biden on behalf of Israel so that support for Israel remains strong in America in spite of everything that Netanyahu says or does. But before that, please subscribe to Conversations, like the video, press the bell icon so you get notifications of videos as soon as I post them. And don't forget to share it with your friends and your network. So on Thursday, Netanyahu clearly said there is going to be no Palestinian state. There is absolutely no two-state solution. There's no space for it. We will not allow it. It will continue to threaten our security. Everything threatens Israeli security, as if Israeli security was not threatened on October 7 while he was in charge and while there was no Palestinian state. Let me repeat this because when it comes to Israel, people generally become mentally dumb and retarded and they stop thinking. The worst massacre of Jews since Holocaust happened on October 7, a horrible terrorist attack by Hamas that hurt children, raped women, killed 1,200 people in Israel, many of them civilians and innocent, and many of them children themselves who were watching, who were participating in a music festival. That happened while Netanyahu was in charge on October 7th and while there did not exist any Palestinian state. So this argument that the whole reason why we are rejecting a Palestinian state with sovereignty. In India, the Indian position is that India supports a viable, independent, sovereign Palestinian state. So this kind of state, Netanyahu says, is a threat to Israeli security. What has he been doing for the past 3-4 months? Trying to restore Israeli security by killing thousands of people, 25,000 people killed, 70% of them women and children. International Court of Justice is hearing cases of genocide against Israel. So this argument is so specious, so foolish. You don't need a 3-digit IQ to understand that it cannot stand on its own legs. But yet, he makes it very clear that Israel does not believe. And the US President, Joe Biden, the only president who visited Israel when it was at war, hugged Netanyahu in front of everybody and promised support, also promised that once this war ends, we will not return to October 7th. There will be no return to October 6th, sorry. And so the only solution, even America acknowledges this, that the only solution, even members in the war cabinet of Bibi Netanyahu recognize that there is no solution to this conflict. Well, there are two solutions. One is you kill all Palestinians, murder them all, children, even fetuses, all of them, hunt them down all over the world, in Canada and US, just commit a mass genocide with America's and Britain's help and protection. That's one solution, if you want to go that way. The Muslim world is helpless. The Arab world is helpless. The voice of the global South will do nothing, maybe make a phone call. The Chinese will do nothing. And so you can get away with it. I'm sure Netanyahu can get away by killing all Palestinians. And he's continuing to do that because this war is endless. That's one solution. And of course, as long as Joe Biden is president, he will keep getting weapons and money. Joe Biden will go around the Congress. He's also sidestepped the Congress twice to give weapons to Israel. And there's a huge popular support in America for Israel. Nikki Haley said, go get them all. Well, he can go get them all. That's one solution. The other solution is the two-state solution, which most of the world, and surprisingly, even the US now advocates. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu said on Thursday, there will be no two-state solution. Joe Biden calls him after a month, has a chat with him, and then tells the American public that there are many ways of thinking about the two-state solution. So we're going to come up with a demilitarized state. How dumb and stupid that comment is. Israel occupies West Bank and Gaza, and yet there is Hamas still shooting rockets months later. How are you going to have a demilitarized Palestinian state when you cannot have a demilitarized occupied territory? I guess you have to be Joe Biden and a Joe Biden supporter to really believe in this bullshit. I can't imagine intelligent people listening to this nonsense and saying, oh, wow, what a solution to the problem Joe has come up with. It's rubbish. All he's trying to do is whitewash what Netanyahu is saying. It's like this argument that the accusation that Israel is committing a genocide is meritless. Really? There are statements from Israeli leaders, the current government leaders, including Netanyahu, which essentially says we're going to kill them all. Only Americans see this. So one of the jobs of the American government and the American president is basically to pick up and clean up after Biden, after Netanyahu. So Netanyahu goes around making a mess, and this is his job, to go and clean up all the mess. Change the diapers, wash him up, put some nice talcum powder so his bum smells good. This is Biden's job, to babysit Netanyahu and make sure that no matter what he says and no matter what he does, he continues to lie to the American people, so the support for Israel will be sustained, even though Israel is then going to violate American foreign policy or American positions or American aid. So this is the second thing that is going on. But guess what? Netanyahu then doubles down and tells them, no, what Biden is saying is rubbish. There is no space for a Palestinian state anymore because we have occupied most of the territory and we have been expanding settlements endlessly. So this is where we are at the moment. And now Joe Biden has got his Five Eyes buddies from Canada and UK to make pronouncements and try and put pressure on Netanyahu to reverse it. Netanyahu wants to stay in power, and he's going to keep prolonging this war, because as soon as the war ends, he probably will have to face some reality. You know, who has more integrity and who has more, shall we say, a stronger moral compass than Joe Biden and Republicans and Democrats who support Netanyahu is the Israeli citizens themselves. I was so impressed, hats off to them, that they came out in hundreds and thousands after Netanyahu said this to protest and demand that Netanyahu's government be replaced. There is a demand for fresh elections. And I'm not sure that Netanyahu will win that elections. Netanyahu probably will beat both Trump and Biden in the American elections, but I'm not sure he could win this election again in Israel. But I also want to ask a really very serious, I'm really angry, so you can see that I'm being a little polemical, but let me ask you this very serious question. That one of the justifications that is being advanced for this huge, catastrophic civilian casualties that we are seeing in Gaza, women and children and other civilians. We don't know how many Hamas fighters have been killed. They're still fighting, they're still shooting, they're still holding the hostages. This 4-month-old war, November, December, January, 3-month-old war, more than 100 days, has not really rescued many hostages. In fact, more hostages have been killed than released through fighting. Whatever 100+ hostages were released in the past were done through ceasefire, with Qatar essentially mediating the release of about 100 hostages. But a lot of people here are saying that Gazan citizens are not innocent. They deserve to die because they support Hamas. So their implication is that, yes, Hamas is also exploiting them, using them as human shields. Hamas is evil. There's no argument there. I'll concede all of this argument, and I've already made them myself. But there seems to be this perception, a moral position which kind of justifies this brutal genocidal violence that we are witnessing today, which is not only killing Gazans, but is also killing our own soul. We are becoming less and less humans because many of us are silently supporting this or think it is wrong, but are not speaking up. So there is this perception that Palestinians deserve this because they support Hamas. So let's turn this question around. And why aren't we punishing the Israelis for electing Netanyahu? This man is a crook, he's a criminal, and now he has killed thousands of children. Why are we giving Israelis a pass for electing such an evil man as their leader? I know Biden hates him, even though he says the opposite, that I love Bibi, but I hate everything or I disagree with everything he has to say, etc. It's the other way around, actually. He hates him. It's punishment for Biden that he had to go all the way to Israel to hug Netanyahu. That's what you have to do if you're a politician. So why aren't we punishing Israelis? Why aren't we imposing sanctions on them? Give me a second. There is no critical analysis of the Israeli citizen, which keeps electing Netanyahu. He's probably dominated the 21st century. He's the longest serving Israeli prime minister. Why aren't we criticizing the Israelis who keep electing this person while we're so easily trying to justify the deaths of Palestinians because allegedly they support Hamas? There was one election in 2007. Many of the children who died were born after that election. They were not responsible for Hamas winning the election. I think it was 2006, 5. But Israelis just elected Netanyahu. This man has said on many occasions that he's against the two-state solutions. American establishment, American leaders know that he's against two-state solution. Every day when he's in office, he has changed the political reality on ground to make it more and more difficult to realize the two-state solution. But why aren't we holding the Israeli citizens accountable for electing a man like Netanyahu? I don't know. You answer the question. Perhaps someone should ask Biden this question. So what is going to happen? This is what is going to happen. The American leaders, American senators, American president, John Kirby, they're going to keep lying. And they're going to keep preventing and not doing anything to enforce ceasefire. Even if the Congress doesn't send weapons, they're going to find some shady way of continuing to support this war that Israel is fighting. And when this war ends, there will be nothing. Years are going to pass. There will be no two-state solution. They're going to, they think that they're going to create a situation where perhaps they will have another 5-10 years of security, and then something horrible like October 7 might happen again, God forbid. But there will be no stoppage. I bet you that while Joe Biden is president, if this war ends now in February, I guarantee you that before Joe Biden leaves office, there will be new settlements built, and this lying Joe will not do anything about it. There will be new settlements built in West Bank by whichever government comes to power. It doesn't matter if it's Netanyahu or anybody else. And Joe Biden will do nothing. He'll just come into public, that's it. He'll mumble something stupid, like John Kirby will then mumble something. We are trying hard. This is so difficult. We are having a conversation with Israel about this, and we are trying to make an impress upon Israel that building new settlements are not a good thing, and they're going to continue doing that. There will be no effort made. And other countries will continue to say that the best solution is a two-state solution, and then they want the Palestinians to just disappear so that then Abrahamic Accords could be expanded, new buildings built, new roadways built, and the GDP of Saudi Arabia can go up, and the trade between all these countries can go on while Palestinians continue to live in some form of continued perpetual occupation. I'm not a Palestinian, I'm not even an Arab, but it is a test of all of us who talk a lot about ethics and values where we stand on this. I'm in Hyderabad in India, and in India now people say that India's foreign policy is based on this principle of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is our family. How long can Indians watch a family member being brutalized like this? How can they continue to justify it? Well, it's very easy. Just listen to Joe Biden. You will learn how to justify it. So I'm off to Delhi. I had a wonderful time so far. I gave 2 more lectures since my last conversation. I gave a lecture at Hyderabad, not at Hyderabad, at the Center for Human Security Studies. I also gave a lecture at the Center for Development Policy and Practice. I gave a lecture at a very wonderful public forum called La Makan, so 2 think tanks and a public lecture. And I'm off to Delhi now, and I'm going to be engaging with various think tanks and universities in Delhi. So please stay tuned, follow the community channel where I will post if any of those events are public. I also want to thank all of those subscribers of Khanversations who came to La Makan, and I got to meet some of you who comment a lot, and we have talked through comment section for more than a year, and it was nice meeting with you guys and hugging you guys and taking photographs with you. So until next time, this is Muqtedar Khan. Please subscribe to Khanversations, like the video, press the bell icon, and share it with others. Bye.